Are you ready for Let Nigeria? We get program where we go to use. I beg, may everybody follow wetin dey happen for this stage. That day, people go come talk wetin dey their mind when they wan make president and governor here. That day, DJ go entertain us. Una know say na this DJ na we go vote next. No be so.
You know, the protest is a way of expressing our grievances because we have tried to let the government know how we felt, but it's like they are not sensitive to the plight of the people. You know, it's like they are on their own world while we are on our own world. And you know, it's like a father who comes to the house and tell the child that there's no food, and at the end of the day, the father will be entertaining guests with chicken and wine. What do you expect the child to feel, or what do you expect the child to say? The child will rebel and protest. That's what we are doing today. It is not because we like to make noise or we like to protest. It is because we discovered that the political leaders who are supposed to be in charge of our resources to make this country comfortable for us are using it for their own selfish personal interests and to the detriment of the general populace, which is very unfair. You know, in the time past, we know how this country was because we are blessed with both natural and human resources in abundance. There is nothing you plant in Nigeria that will not grow and do well because our soil is very blessed. If you look at the top of some story building, you see grass growing there. Why? The climate and the environment is very good, and yet we are hungry. It is not supposed to be like that. Nigeria is supposed to be one of the exporters of food, but today we don't even have enough to feed ourselves because of the economic situation and because of security situation. So what we need to do is to call on the government to wake up to their responsibility, because the primary responsibility of the government is to preserve the life and security of the citizens of the country. If the life and the security of the people will not be protected, then the primary responsibility of the government is defeated. So that is why we came out to say, let us express our grievances. Economy is not good. There is no food. Things are hard. And even the petroleum products that we produce, which is fuel, is even on the very high price because of the insensitivity and the failure of the government. If the government put refineries in place and the refinery are working as they're supposed to be, I can tell you for sure, we can buy fuel for 10 naira. Go and come 10 naira because we export it locally, we process it locally, and then we also use it locally, and we can even produce this and also export it to neighboring countries. If our refinery is in full working capacity. Now look at Dangote refinery now. The man is complaining that the product that we have locally, he cannot get it. He has to go and import from outside. But that is evil. That is to say, if he import from outside, the cost of importing the goods will be there, the cost of buying it from outside will be there, and then the cost of production. But if we get it locally, the cost of importation, the cost of buying from outside will be out. We will only get it internally and produce it here. What is the implication? The price will drop drastically. So what am I trying to say? If we are able to increase the production locally, now listen to another thing that we also do. If we produce locally and start exporting, foreign exchange will increase. And when that happens, the currency will become stronger. One of the reasons why we are talking about currency fluctuation, currency decrease, they are talking about forests. They should leave forests alone. They are talking about people who are doing crypto transactions. Leave that alone. Encourage local production in large quantity and export what we have produced. Don't be exporting raw materials. If we have cocoa, turn it to chocolate, turn it to beverages and export. If we have cassava, turn it to flour, export. If we have corn, we can do the same thing. There are many raw materials we can convert to finished product and export. When we start exportation, the price of dollar will drop and the price of naira will increase. We should reduce the importation. Do you know that Nigeria imports toothpick? Toothpick. Now, what are we importing toothpick for? When we have bamboo everywhere, and we can use to make 1 million toothpick if you want to. We can even be exporting toothpick if you wish. The government is not sensitive. That is what I can say. Because if they are sensitive to the plight of the people and they look inward, I can tell you, the Bible says there is a book, there is a land that is flowing with milk and honey. If you look at it critically, it is not Kenya and Galilee, it is Nigeria that is our land. Why do I say so? I have my basic reason. Nigeria is the only country, I can say it again, the only country that have oil in abundance, large quantity, and yet our land, agriculture is doing very well. Many of those countries that have oil in abundance, their agriculture is not doing very well. Those who have agriculture, they don't have oil. But we have both in large and commercial quantity, and yet we are like this. Some of them have only one, either agriculture or oil, and they are doing better. But we have oil in large quantity, we have agriculture in large quantity, and yet the country is like this. That is to say, our leadership has some kind of problem. Like I said, we are the youth of this country. They said the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But what we come to discover is that the people who are leading us refuse to leave the office. If they are doing well, we wouldn't have bothered. But we are discovering that they are no longer doing well. Now let them tell us we are ready to serve the country. Nigeria is our country. We don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to leave this country. We want to serve this country. Let me tell you one thing.
Okay, sir. Let's
do you know? Sorry, do you know that the best hand in the world in science, medicine, technology, arts, even in entertainment are Nigerians in the world, and yet we are like this. Leadership is the basic problem of Nigeria. Indirectly, I talked about it when I said that they said the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But since independence, Nigeria has been recycling the same set of leaders. That is why we have this problem. They did not allow the youth who are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow to take the position and the mantle of leadership. Those who are supposed to be elder statesmen, who we are supposed to be respected and paid dues to, are still sitting at the helm of affairs. When they know that they are devoid of ideas, instead of them to call the youth and now we have moved. We are 3 generations ahead of them, but they are still leading us. We have the manual, the analog, we have the analog, then we have the digital. They have moved from the manual to from the analog. Now we are in the digital. The manual are still ruling us. What do you think will happen to us? We will be backward. Let the digital mind come on board and see what this country will be. I can tell you for sure that if they allow leadership to come to the youth, as they have claimed that the youth are leaders of tomorrow, I tell you for sure, Nigeria will be the best country in the world. I can guarantee you that.
Is it that they impose themselves or not?
I can tell you for sure that they impose themselves.
How does it happen?
God bless you. Election in this country is not election, it is election. And I can tell you, but let me use the last election as a case study. When people came out, we saw political parties brought out their candidate. They gave them manifesto. A candidate was not even talking to anybody. And yet that candidate is the president of today. Why did he come to be the president? It is because somebody in the who we gave the mandate of the electoral process in the name of Yakub Mahmoud to attack the situation by turning the electoral process upside down. We voted for somebody. They told us that we will do RF, we will do digital voting. Everything will be transmitted online. Did we see that? No. Rather, we saw something different from the norm. If they have allowed us to vote as they have claimed, using the voting principle as stated by Mahmoud Yakub, by today, I don't think this country would have been like this. So it is those who are in position of authority, but their way into the office, we did not vote them there. That's why we are like this. A judiciary that converted Abuja to a state. What do you think that judiciary is? Abuja is to be the federal capital territory, not a state. We have 36 states, but the judiciary converted Abuja to become a 37 state simply because they want to favor a candidate. What do you think of that judiciary? Listen, judiciary before used to be the hope of the common man, but today we have lost hope in the judiciary. We have lost complete hope in the judiciary. Now, protests without direction, it's like we are making noise and there will not be any results. So what we have decided is that while we are working and while we are protesting peacefully, underline, peacefully, no destruction of property, no destruction of life, no extortion of anybody. And that is what we have been taking. Thank God in Edo State here, the protests have been very peaceful for the past first, second, and today being the 3rd day. Very peaceful. You know, by the grace of God, we have been able to achieve that with the cooperation of the members. And we have been able to sample opinions from members of the public and those who are protesting. And they all speak one language, that the economy is very difficult. And this is owing to the singular fact that there are some certain indices that are supposed to be put in place by the federal government, the state government, the local government, and they are not in place. So what we are going to do, we are preparing a compendium of every activities or every response that we have gathered from everybody, and we'll prepare this communique and document and tender it to the government before the expiration of the 10 days protest, and then we'll wait for their response. But we pray that they respond, because failure to respond might lead to elongation of the protest. Thank God for the proactive or the reactive governor of Edo State, because we went to the governor's house and he promised joining us, and that is why he was here. He came and he made some promises very well. We appreciate his coming, at least to show that he's a father who cares and listens to the cries of the people. And he gave us some promises, which he said from immediate effect. There are 5 of them that he can effect personally. No, we are looking now to see how effective they are. That's number 1. Then the other one that he said he's going to forward to our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. He said he will forward it to him. We are waiting to hear when he will give us the response that he has forwarded it and there's a response from him. But for now, we are waiting to see how he's implementing those that he has promised us by himself that he can do. My name is Engineer Benin Chinedu Enudi. I'm the Comrade General and the founder of Advocacy for a Better Society.
So far, so good. The protests here have been peaceful. Have been very, very peaceful, orderly and organized. Commend Edo and Edo people, making sure that everything has been going on fine. We want to also thank the security agencies that they have provided support to make sure that this protest goes on. So, to cut the long story short, we've been here since on Monday. On Monday, we were here. On Monday, we were here. On Monday, we were here for the protest. And even the governor came here to address the protesters, including the CP. And also the government assured us those things that within the ambits of the state, we will make sure that we do. And those things that we need to transmit that only the federal government can take care of, we will also help us in transmitting these things. And we have made a lot of demands. Yesterday, it was also the same thing. We conversed here in the morning again for the 2 of the protests. And we also went around with this protest peacefully in this same place. So generally the protest has been peaceful. Our demands are simple, and we want the federal government to reduce the we have also said clearly that we cannot continue with bicameral registration. They should remove one of the house of the National Assembly. So that we are going with the House of Representatives of the House of Assembly. And they should be going there for part-time, not full-time politicians. And they should also receive based on minimum wage. They should also go and look for other things to be doing. You understand that we cannot afford that luxury that they currently enjoy. You understand? Those were part of our demand yesterday. We also talked about the reduction of fuel price, because that's what basically has made all food items to skyrocket. And we believe that the economic team of Mr. President did not go through their policies before implementing. Because one, you cannot devalue Naira and also remove fuel subsidy. Those two policies will choke the economy. And that's what we are facing currently today in Nigeria. And that's why we have said that the federal government should, as a matter of urgency, revert back to 200 Naira so that the average Nigerian can also buy. And they will see the ripple effect in a couple of days. We see that the economy is stable, because every goods and services, they rely on this same petroleum services to distribute, as long as production and distribution. So those were parts of our demands, and we are still here today. We have come out, but more significant is that we already understand that protest is not an end; it is a means to an end. Because after these whole 10 days, what next? So we, as leaders and organizers, we are thinking beyond, above the board to see how we can sustain, if not the protest, to sustain our demand, to make sure that they are being implemented. Now, by today, later today, we will be converging. As we have converged, we will be declaring, doing a King's Square declaration, which will highlight all these issues. And so it will be like if the government does A, we will tick. And on that basis, we will continue to agitate, just like the Kayama Declaration and the Ogoni Declaration. And that is what has given the Ogoni people and the Ijaw people legitimacy today because of that declaration. So we will be issuing the King Square Declaration today to make sure that we capture all these our demands and to see how we will follow up even after the 10 days to make sure that the federal government listens to the cries of people. Part of the demands we gave to the state was one, the issue of aggoroism in the state. That for a while now, the aggoros have taken over the town, and that the state government should use the iron grip of the law to bring these people to book and to make sure that these people are being removed from our streets and our markets, which the governor has assured that we will do. And like I said, we will continue to follow up. And like the time frame, I believe before the end of this protest, that's why we are coming out with a document also, so that on that basis we will continue to engage and we will continue to see that our demands are being implemented. Also, we talked about the school fees for our children.